Forgive me, Colonel Sanders, for I have sinned. It has been 8 months since I last ate a crispy strip. Hi everyone, I am Ovi, and I have been sober for the last 8 months. Since December 2013, I have never spent 2 days in a single fast food restaurant. What I'm going to share with you today are some of the 1001 Happy Meal stories that occurred during my lifetime and that changed my perspective on food and changed my eating habits. Now, before we get started, we have to set some ground rules so that I know that we're speaking the same language here. Because maybe someone doesn't know what fast food is. So, what do you think fast food is? Can you please give me some examples of fast food or fast food restaurants? Anyone?
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Something else?
Walmart.
KFC.
Walmart.
Oh, okay. Anything else? Subway.
Pizza Hut.
Burger King.
Pizza Hut. Burger King. Yes, pizza is the Italian version of fast food. No problem. Shawarmas, Shanghai Express, and so on. So all these are fast food restaurants. Fast food is not the food that you cook at home in a fast way. Okay? And fast food is certainly not an Olympic sprinter, unless you're a cannibal. And in that case, an Olympic sprinter is your fast food. After 12 years of eating junk, I came finally to the conclusion that fast food doesn't kill you instantly. How do I know that? I'm still here. Otherwise, this speech would have been delivered by a chicken maker. Just make this image. Fast food is like cheating. You do it, you enjoy it, and then you end up feeling like shit. So, we start our fast food odyssey in the late 1990s. In 1999 to be more exact, when the first McDonald's restaurant opened in Mureș. Now, I went to my parents and I asked them, and I begged them to take me to McDonald's. And I can be pretty persuasive when I want. So, of course, they surrendered to my physical charm, and they took me to McDonald's. Now, from a distance, I saw those golden circles, symbol of gastric ecstasy. And I knew this day is going to change my life. So I went in, and there I was, facing the first big choice of my life that would influence my eating destiny. Hamburger, cheeseburger, or chicken McNuggets. I chose a Happy Meal because I wanted to be happy while I'm eating. So, hamburger is the first one. I always like to be the number one. So I chose hamburger. How blind was I? If you had been there with me in that day, you would have seen this small, charming little boy playing with this action man figure made in China, while his mother handed over him this hamburger made in Mureș. He took a bite. Awful. Disgusting. My first McDonald's experience was ruined. For the couple of years, I started asking myself, why are hamburgers so bad? And I had similar experiences with cheeseburger and Big Mac. Dreadful, the same way. So I thought that it can't be me because I'm brilliant. It must be the food. So, where does the food come from? Well, it comes from cows. So if I would find better cows, I would find better hamburgers. And where do you find the best cows? In India, because they are sacred there. So maybe they make sacred hamburgers. Hamburgers that help you pave your way to food heaven. I don't know for sure because I haven't been there yet, but if I see a small cross on the hamburger, I know it's sacred. But maybe, and this is probably the best a better solution to my problem is that I hate Big Macs because I'm a Microsoft fan. And if Big Macs are a genetical mix between a hamburger and an Apple computer, well, it's easy to see why I hate them. So, here was I, in high school. Like I said, the only fast food restaurant in Târgu Mureș was McDonald's. So during the years, I developed some sort of a ritual, I may say. Because I would go to McDonald's every Friday and order a chicken McNuggets menu and a McChicken menu. Every Friday. For the next 6 years. Every Friday. Until one day, the man behind the counter had a reaction like this. Would you like the usual, Mr. Oltean? Now this moment was like Donald Trump eats at fancy restaurant junkie version feeling. I'm a celebrity now. People at McDonald's in Târgu Mureș know me. I don't even have to say what I want. I just want the usual. So being a star in Târgu Mureș, I thought I can take this and move on. Being national. So on my 7th grade, I was on a school trip with my classmates. And we were in Râmnicu Vâlcea. We were almost approaching the exit of the city when the army of orcs sounded in my stomach. I was hungry. So I went to my school teacher and I said, please, can we go to McDonald's? I know there is a good McDonald's here in Râmnicu Vâlcea, but they are all the same. How can that be better? I don't know. But of course, I'm charming and I made an impression. So we turned around the bus and went to McDonald's in Râmnicu Vâlcea. Now, for those of you who haven't been yet to Râmnicu Vâlcea at McDonald's, here's a few tips. The restaurant is situated on 2 levels. You have the street level, the ground level, where everyone eats and has a good time eating delicious food. And then you have the underground level. That means you have to go down some stairs and place your order. So here I was, at the counter, I placed my order, they didn't know what the usual was, no problem, they still have time to learn. And then I took the tray and started running up the stairs in order to get to that free table because we were a big bunch of crazy kids. So as I was running on the stairs with my tray, there was a slight moment of lack of synchronization between my eyes and my feet. So I tripped and I spilled all the drinks and food on me. Now one friend of mine had a peculiar comment on this. And he said, well, where do you have more plastic material, on you or on the tray? Now, I don't know how much plastic there is in the food at McDonald's, but I was in my jeans. So that question remains unanswered. Having a big impression in Râmnicu Vâlcea, I decided to take it international. So, my next story comes from Austria, where I was on a holiday visiting a hospital for a broken knee that I had. And on our way back, as I was lying in the truck of my father's Jeep, I told him, Father, the orcs are again growling in my stomach. Please stop at the drive-thru restaurant at the McDonald's. Yeah, sure, no problem. So here we are, in the home nation of Arnold Schwarzenegger, stopping at the drive-thru in Austria. I placed the order, the usual. They don't know what the usual means. No problem. And I asked them, can you please fill my bag with ice, with more ice, because I'm in pain. The lady at the counter looked at me curious, thinking that I'm a madman, and asked for her manager. Now this Nimrod comes, looks at me, and says, no. And please, I'm in pain, I just need some ice. We don't serve food in foreign containers. Food? Since when is ice food? Who eats ice? Come on. So I solved it the Romanian way. I am willing to pay for it, no problem. At that moment, a big smile appeared on his face. He took my ice bag and went with it to the McSandy machine. Now, at this moment, I understood what this Nimrod thought. And I started screaming from the truck of the Jeep. No! No! I scream, ice! Frozen water, Nimrod! So I became a star in Austria. That's good, no problem. But let's move on and go even more international. Let's go to the mother nation of fast food, America. In 2012, I had the privilege to celebrate the 4th of July in New Jersey. Now, on that particular year, in 2012, they sold 150 million hot dogs in one day. And that number dropped by 3% from the previous year. Why? Well, maybe because people who regularly eat hot dogs die. Maybe that's why the number dropped. So all the summer I was working at a pizza restaurant. And like I said, pizza is garbage, especially when you eat onion rings pizza, and French fried pizza, and Caesar salad pizza, and pizza that even Star Trek movies couldn't make up for. So I was working there, but you know how it is when food is like sex. When you are deprived of it, even the worst stuff starts to look good. So that summer I ate a lot of garbage at the pizza restaurant. And one day, my manager, Tony, a small, big-looking rock person, looks at me and says, "Ovi, you want to try something special? Something you've never tried before in your life?" "Well, yeah, sure." So he takes this bottle of hot sauce, takes a toothpick, dips it in the hot sauce, and puts one small drop on my pizza slice. "Try it." I took 2 bites. Nothing impressive. "Your life will change in the next 15 seconds. Yeah, right. And at that moment, my eyes began to swim in the tears that were coming on my face. All of my face became red as the pizza sauce in the pizza, and there was a big volcano erupting from my throat. I started running on the beach, hoping that the cool air would cool down the heat in my neck. And then I finally got the answer of one of my questions. I now know who eats ice. I now know why ice can be food. So, this was the perfect weapon to screw around with all the friends I had that were living with me in America. So I took the bottle and I asked Tony, "Can I borrow some of this stuff?" "Yeah, sure, no problem." And there it was, on the bottle, a big skull, and underneath, "Do not be sold to people under the age of 18, under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or that are mentally disordered." Excellent! So I took this bottle, I poured a little bit in a small cup, and I took it home. And here is the 4-phase hot sauce pranks. Prank number 1, serves hot sauce as ketchup for French fries. Result, victim drank 1 gallon of cold milk and covered his face with wet towels all the evening. Prank number 2, put hot sauce on a cigar filter and put the cigar back into the package. Result, same victim, next day, takes the cigar out, lights it up, takes the smoke. I have to mention that he works as a delivery boy. And he smoked his cigar just before arriving at his client's place. Result, he couldn't say a word to his client because he was choking and his face was red. Prank number 3, put hot sauce on a small cookie and leave it on the table in the house. Result, same victim. Comes up, and we were 9 in that house. Same victim comes home late at night from a pub, drunk as hell, takes the cookie, eats it, and then wakes up the entire house screaming like a lunatic and because he couldn't breathe anymore. Prank number 4, and after this I left because I didn't want to face the repercussions. I emptied all the cup into a big ketchup bottle, mixed it, and left. Result came 1 week later by phone. I understood that a girl almost had a heart attack because she ate pastas with ketchup. Okay, that's not good, and the fast food spirit saw me abusing his gifts, so he has to get his revenge. So what does he do? Well, I was in Washington at the end of the summer, visiting some buildings over there, and I bought a 2-way bus ticket. So in the day of my return, I figured out how much I can stay at the McDonald's for lunch, so I wouldn't starve on my way home, in order to get in time at the departure site. Okay, so I went to McDonald's, ordered the usual. In Washington, they don't know what the usual means, no problem. And I arrived at the bus station 5 minutes before the bus leaves. That's great, right? No, not if you're in America and you want to go by a Greyhound bus. You have to be 20 minutes before the bus leaves the station, or else, even if the bus is empty, you're not allowed on board. Damn, 1-0 for Ronald McDonald. Seeing this, I think Colonel Sanders from KFC decided to raise up the stakes. So what does he do? Well, he offers me crispy strips, he offers me hot wings, and keeps me in a KFC restaurant 20 minutes longer than usual. 20 minutes longer is enough for me to miss the plane that left America towards Romania. And there I was, having to buy another plane ticket in order to return home because of a crispy strip. So, coming back to Romania, I went and get my blood analysis because eating so much junk is not good for you. And in fact, the nurse told me that I was a mix between Superman and Floriol, and I should give up all the fried stuff because it's not good for me. So I did. I gave up all the fried, and I started eating only shawarma. Where do you find the best shawarma in Cluj? Manualul. And why is it so special, the shawarma in Manualul? Because it has a secret sauce. Now that sauce is so secret that even Ariel, and I'm not talking about the mermaid, can't get it out of my white pants when I spill on the sauce. In that period, some of my vegetarian friends told me that I have to start having a balanced diet. Now, a balanced diet doesn't mean holding a shawarma in both of your hands in order to be balanced. No, it means cutting down the meat. Let me tell you something. Red meat is not bad for you. Blue meat or green meat is bad for you. Red meat, it's okay. And considering going to having a vegetarian diet, I don't think so. Why? Mainly because my food shits on their food. So, no thank you, I don't want to switch sides. Yeah, but they were right in considering one thing. We have to be responsible. We have to be responsible for the way we eat, because McDonald's and KFC, they are not responsible for us getting fat. And Kent and Marlboro are not responsible for us getting lung cancer, as well as Ursus and Timișoreana are not responsible for us getting sex with ugly people. So, you have to be responsible, and don't forget that the journey to 1,000 pounds begins with a single burger. Thank you.